Hey, everybody. Wendell Mosley, Bigfoot 911, here with Mark and Billy. I met Mark at the Alabama Bigfoot Conference, and now we got you on YouTube.
Oh, we got something going on. Is that Moto?
Now, that's my phone. See, it's telling me we're live.
Well, it's a good reminder.
Yeah.
So yeah, we met down there at Alabama. I met Anita Collier at the Paducah Symposium, the Paranormal Symposium, and she said you got to come down to my conference down in Alabama. So I did, and I met you, and I got my 911 sticker from you.
Yeah.
And got to meet a lot of great people down there. Tex Wesson, his front porch,
Yeah.
and MK Davis, and Melissa Adair, and Ryan Edwards. So
Did you meet
it was a really
Greg?
good time.
Did you meet Greg Googles out there?
Greg, yeah, I forgot to mention Greg. Yeah, I met him.
Good.
He did a documentary on the land between the lakes that I had to see. I talked or briefly talked to him at the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Conference early in May, and had gotten a copy of his DVD there, and so I got him to autograph me one while I was there in Alabama.
Cool. So, how did y'all get into your paranormal stuff?
Well, I got the expert right here behind me. Talk to him, Billy.
Well, when after me and Jill got married, somewhere around 2017, some friends of ours invited us to a ghost hunt at Waverly Hills for the very first time. And so that was our first paranormal hunt. Mark wasn't with us at that time. It was just the four of us that went. But I've had pretty much a thing for the paranormal for about 20 years since my first experience 20 years ago. And that kind of led to being about it. And then 2017, we got a little taste of what being in the field was like, and it's blown up from there to what it is today.
So if you didn't say, Billy is my son-in-law and Jill is my daughter, and they were the co-founders, and they took me. I had a lifelong interest in this, and I can go into a few things that I've tried before, but they took me on my first ghost hunt at a private residence in Draftonville, Kentucky. And I was like, from then on, I was like, this is pretty neat stuff. So I joined Night Vision Paranormal.
Cool. So, have you seen a ghost yet?
Well, I tell you what. Now, if you had asked me a month ago, actually almost to the day, a month ago, if I had seen anything paranormal, I would say one and only one in my whole life. It was either a ghost or it was a shadow person. I never even heard the term shadow person back then, so I said it was a ghost. But if you saw on the report that I sent you about what we're going to talk about later, I am retired law enforcement of 37 years. At the time, this was in about 1989 or 1990. I was investigating a burglary at a business in Richmond, Virginia. I was a patrolman there. And a detective was with me. We were investigating this burglary, and we were walking towards a subject that was sitting on a bench just down from where this burglary had happened. And as we were walking toward this subject, he disappeared right in front of us. And if I had been by myself, I would have said, I'm crazy. But no, both stopped, turned and looked at each other. And we both said, did you see that? So that was what I had up until what we're going to talk about later tonight. The only thing I'd gotten some EVPs working with Billy and Jill.
Yeah.
And some strange stuff, nothing earth shattering. That one was earth shattering. It got my attention that there's something else out there. And now I call myself the cryptid division of Night Vision Paranormal. Jill and Billy and his son Skylar, they really like the ghost part, and I'm interested. We just had a ghost hunt last night. We got done about 2:00 this morning, and now we're talking cryptids again. So we've how many in the last 2 weeks we've done how many ghosts?
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 ghosts.
4 ghosts, and then a follow-up investigation at Land Between the Lakes on a cryptid. So we've had a very, very busy month.
Do you have any experience at Land Between the Lakes?
Well, that's what we're going to talk about. I've actually lived here in Western Kentucky my whole life, with the exception of 7 years when I was in Virginia and Louisiana. And so I grew up right here, fished and camped and hiked and explored all around Land Between the Lakes. Nothing, ever. Now, what happened here on May 28th of this year changed all that. You ready to get into that, or you want to do something
I'm
else?
ready. I'm ready.
Okay. So we have Night Vision Paranormal. We had been up to Land Between the Lakes several times on foot, looking around, checking out some reported hotspots. People like follow Martin Groves and Daryl Denton and Barton Nunley, and that's inspired me. It's like, oh, there's really close to where I live, and something that amazing could be out there. I said, okay, so we have been several times as a group looking and exploring. I often go by myself when I can't get somebody else to go. I do have a buddy, Rick Hammer, that he goes with me sometimes now and trying to keep me out of trouble. But if I don't have anybody else, I go solo. So that's what I did on the 28th of May. I decided to take a different approach, and I wanted to do by kayak along Kentucky Lake and search the shoreline, because I had heard reports that people fishing and boating would see something, and it's like, oh wow, that's Bigfoot up there, or that's something they couldn't explain. So I thought I would try it by kayak, because I could be silent and go at a quiet, calm pace. All I saw was the local wildlife. I floated right up on deer at the shoreline, raccoon. There was snakes and and turtles and birds everywhere. It was a beautiful day. Went along the shoreline of a particular area that we had been investigating in the past, and was just taking general snapshot pictures. Didn't see anything unusual, didn't hear anything unusual. So I was just taking documentation shots of my trip, and I sent them to Jill, who I say is our logistics chief, because she goes through and does all the technical stuff. She's the one that was able to get us on here today. So she scoured all these pictures, and I didn't say, I saw anything. She just was trying to find if there could be something.
Yeah, I understand how that works.
Yeah. Well, she's got a lot of patience.
Yeah, it takes it.
Yeah, so she scoured for this photograph that I had taken, and the others too. And she said, she contacted me back, says, oh, we got something. Okay, so she sent it to me. And if you will see on our post at Night Vision Paranormal on Facebook, or it's also been posted to TikTok, is my understanding.
MVP_KY.
There you go, MVP_KY. You'll see the comparison photos that I'm talking about here. So she found this dark figure, and it appears to have ears, a muzzle, and other body structure. This is in a very steep location. Okay, I'm just telling you, this is not flat woods.
Right.
This is very steep. And so we were amazed. It's like, oh, this is great. I've got to go back there, because from my background, well, you got to go back and do a follow-up investigation and try to be scientific about this.
And debunk it if you can.
Absolutely, and debunk it. That we just recently had a ghost hunt at a private residence that we were trying to see if there was something there or debunk it if not, because we're all about 100% integrity.
Yeah,
we're not going to make up anything. We're not going to say it's there if it's not. These pictures I took myself, and they have not been altered. Okay, so to continue on, I had to go back. So it was 2 days later. It was about 44 hours, so less than 48 hours on the timestamp. And the timestamp should be on the report that I sent to you, Wendell, excuse me. So I went back and I had to approximate, because I was in a kayak and I was on Kentucky Lake. And if y'all know Kentucky Lake, it's not a little body of water. It's long and it's wide. So I knew the area I'm going to, and I'm trying to approximate it. This day, it was really windy, and the kayak was doing this and dolphining, and waves were coming over the top and whatever. So I had to get as close as I could to the location originally, which I just snapped and I'm just getting a general landscape. This time I'm trying to approximate that. And so I took several pictures with the same iPhone that I used originally for consistency. I took several photos with another digital camera from the same approximate location, and then up closer to the shoreline, showing the very steep rocky face that's there. And there's a lot of trees in there too, but it's very steep. And so different angles from that, trying to see, was there a big rock or a stump or something that was there, or something that could have caused this shadow that we were interpreting as something possibly of interest to cryptid hunters.
Is this one of your sons on here? This gamer? You see that?
Sigma Gamer?
Yes.
I don't know.
Is that
It might be my
Well,
son's
he answered
I don't know
the
if
question.
it's on YouTube.
well, he's got the three
If it
sons.
is, he knows how to. He's a college major.
See, he's answering that question right there.
Somebody's got Cthulhu on there. Bayou Kraken, I like Cthulhu.
He said, "Was that daytime?" And Sigma Gamer said, "Yes, it was broad daylight."
Yeah, so it's
Yes,
part of my son.
and it was the original photograph was approximately 4 p.m. on May 28th. The follow-up comparison photo was May 30th at approximately noon, so about a 4 hours shy of being 48 hours or 2 days. So I took those back, sent those back to Logistics Chief Jill, and she was able to, out of the numerous pictures, get a very close angle with the original, because there's a very distinctive tree there. We call it spiky tree. And so we could tell. Well, if you look on that picture, and these are now posted on our Facebook page and on TikTok, and you're going to be seeing more. We're going to be putting them out more now, but you can see there is no dark figure there. So with 100% certainty, there was something there on the 28th. That figure was not there less than 2 days later. I don't know what it is. I have my guess.
Yeah.
And I think other people will have their guess when they look at the photo. But there's absolutely no doubt in the original photograph, the dark figure with the ears, the muzzle, is in front of some sticks. And you can see that it's blocking out those sticks. So it was there, and then it was not. Exactly what it is in this reported cryptid cryptid hotspot is up for debate. But we did yet another follow-up on this. So about, it was June 15th, I believe is the right day. Again, that's in the report that I sent you. All of us went back and hiked in to this location. The idea was I had made up a cryptid measuring stick. So I had an 8-foot 2-inch pole that I had marked at 5 feet, 6 feet, 7 feet, 8 feet, and then put a streamer at the top of 8 feet 2 inches. So the idea was we were going to locate this spiky tree after we hiked in and place that measuring stick, and then I was going to go back, take the kayak once again, and take yet another comparison photograph. Well, once our whole group got there, we found out this is way steeper, more dangerous than we were prepared for. I have a background in rope rescue, so I knew what we need to do is bring in some ropes, some different types of climbing gear, and it's not straight up and down where we need to get to, but there's a ledge underneath spiky tree where this dark figure was. And so we're going to go back yet again, place the cryptid measuring stick there, and I'm going to take a third comparison photo, and we're also going to be looking for other evidence at that ledge location. Because
would it be easier to go in by boat than come down from the other way?
Absolutely cannot access it. Absolutely. It's a sheer rock face, and then it gets a little easier, not much, but there's trees growing, but part of it is a sheer rock face down to Kentucky Lake. So no, it cannot be accessed by boat. That's why we had to do the two-phase version. We was going to hike in, place the stick, hike back out, bring the kayak, and photograph the stick there, and put up a three panels. The original photo, the one 2 days later when nothing was there, and the third showing the measuring stick, and then compare it to 3. That's still in the works.
Well, instead of everybody doing the hike in, let somebody come in with the kayak and take a picture while y'all are there.
Well, that we thought about that. With the subject that we think is there, I wasn't really too anxious to let unarmed people maybe walk in there by themselves because the other members of Night Vision Paranormal were not carrying a firearm.
Yeah, I understand.
And I'll just say from my background that I might be doing that for personal protection and to protect members of my group. So that's a possibility, just to speed it up. But now we know exactly how to get to the spiky tree. It took some work to find it. We knew the general area, but it took a while to get there, and it was really steep. Billy, did you ever get sweaty or winded at all?
Just a little bit. It didn't help that it was 110 in the shade, and we encountered a nice timber rattler on the way to the site. So
a big timber rattler. Jill heard it first, and she turned around, was walking back, and she said, "Nope, nope, nope, snake." And I'm jumping up and down because I'd never seen a timber rattler in the wild. So I'm running over to it and getting all these videos because so possible cryptids is not the only thing that's dangerous in this particular research area.
No, it's not. It's not just animals, not just cryptids, but the people too. So you got three dangers to watch out for.
Absolutely. And people are the worst. I can tell you people are the worst. But there's not a lot of people where this is. But we are going to be going back. Like he said, it is like much of the country. It's been a tremendous heat wave going on. And we're going to wait till it cools down a little bit more to make the third phase of this, to put the measuring stick in and continue the investigation by foot and by water.
Well, most folks that I know, they do their stuff in the early spring and late fall and winter because of the snakes.
Well, sounds good. But then again, I'm thinking about going maybe tomorrow. I don't know if Rick's watching or if he's available. Maybe get him to go. While we, Night Vision Paranormal, was set up at the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Festival as a vendor, because logistics chief Jill also makes all of our shirts, and she sells a lot of items, helping to get to go to some of these places. But I got to meet Martin Groves there at the festival, and he gave me a good tip on some place I've been looking for. So I've gone there a few times now, and I'll be going back again. If nobody's available, then I may be going by myself, but that's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah, I like Martin. I met him and Daryl and Barton and his wife. And
I haven't met Daryl or Barton yet. I understand there's a lot of some health issues going on with some of them folks, so been praying for them. I hope they're getting better.
Yes,
I did get an email from Martin Groves. He was going in for some surgery, I believe, and I think he's doing better, but I'm still waiting to hear more from him. But I'm praying that he's.
Last I heard, he had pneumonia and thought he was over it. Went out, come back, and it come back on him. That's the last I heard.
Goodness. But we've got, that's the next, other than possible solo investigations at Land Between the Lakes, we have another paranormal investigation this coming weekend, yet another one. Where are we going?
We'll be in Illinois at Ashmore Estates this coming weekend. After that, we have a little bit of a break. We do have a con coming up the following weekend at our local county, Marshall County. The public library there does a con every year. It's just kind of a mini con. It's a little bit of everything. And with it being our home county, mine and Jill's, that is, we do attend it. We will have a speaking engagement there. I'll be doing a little bit of stuff about the paranormal side, the ghost side of the paranormal side of things, equipment, evidence that we've captured in that, and so forth. And then we'll have a little bit of a break because we do have children and they play sports and travel all over the place. And then we'll pick back up in August right now at the Cape Con and be at that con as a vendor as well.
Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
Right.
Yeah, so we're between Missouri, Kentucky, Illinois, Tennessee, and this last 6 weeks we've been doing a bunch of them. So, but we're really happy that you allowed us to come on. And well, I see Anita's there. Yeah. I think Anita and Selena are going to come up and take a look around LBL. So,
okay.
Come on up, y'all. Southern Belle Bigfoot, Selena Garrett, and Anita Collier. I mean,
yeah,
both from the conference there in Alabama as well.
Well, there's a bunch of us podcasters that we kind of formed like a big family unit. There's Woodwalkers, Squatch and Holler, Cedar Creek Bottoms Farmstead Life with Mark and Rebecca Green. I wish they could have come up to the conference and y'all got to meet them.
Well, I know they're going to be a conference next year. Anita's already working on everybody there, so maybe I'll get to meet them then, and maybe we can have our whole Night Vision Paranormal crew there this time instead of just representative me.
Unfortunately, we weren't able to attend, Jill and I, because of other obligation with children. But thankfully, Mark was able to go and network for Night Vision Paranormal, and it's been big for us.
Met some wonderful people there, including yourself, Wendell. Just about everybody was really wonderful and welcoming. Got some good information. And got to see a little karaoke. Ryan Edwards, he's a really good singer. Some of the rest
of you should have come down to the camp out with us.
What's that?
You should have come down to the camp out with us.
Well, I didn't know anything about it. Like I said, I was just starting to meet people in that field, but I am planning on going down to Alabama. I understand there's a Bigfoot or two down there.
Yes, and there's one or two.
And maybe somebody could introduce me to one, because other than my photograph here, which cryptid to be determined, I'd like to meet a Bigfoot in person.
Have you been on my Facebook page at all?
I have.
Then you've heard them two howls that's on there?
I'm trying to. I think I did it while I was at the conference.
Oh, okay.
Not recently, but I think I did at the conference after I met you.
All right, I got two howls on there. One was captured by Blue Eyed Northern, and the other one was by Jason. I can't remember his last name, but he's not in the YouTube and all that. But he was there and he recorded a howl.
And that was is that around Anniston or
it was
Cheehaw?
down. It was in we got a place down close to Sylacauga that we go. I'm not going to say the name of it on here. But there's always something going on. People having rocks thrown at them. I did a show the other day with Roger, Mark, and Gary as to some of the stuff we was seeing. Then Mark came out with a video of him and Stacy of what happened with her. People had rocks thrown. They put bacon and watermelon out there in two spots. The spot in front of me, they cleared out the bacon and the watermelon. The other side, they got the bacon. So
okay. All you got to do is give me a location and a time. Like I said, I retired in January, so I can travel. I want to meet up some. I want some real experiences up close, not
now
just.
Mark does a thing once a month at his house called Fire Pit, where you sit out in the backyard and everybody gets together and just talks. Not always about Bigfoot, just hanging out. He lives down in Sylacauga, and if you happen to be in the area on I think it's the second Saturday of a month, you'll be welcome to come to it. And last year, Woodwalkers, they did 2 meet and greets. The first one was up in LBL up there, and we had over 120 people in camp and others that came through. And then they came down here to our spot later on, and I think it was October or somewhere around that area, and did another one. We had another 100 and so folks come through.
Wow.
Not all that many stayed actually camped there, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And Mark had a couple of get-togethers over there, and then he did one at the Calaga Mill down there, and he did a Christmas dinner down there, and he did a couple of campouts down there. So we have some pretty good, interesting folks, and
I look forward to meeting a lot more of the people in this field and trying to learn from them. I've already learned a lot, but I intend to learn more.
Well, like I say, you catch Squatch and Holler with Roger Williams. This is his last name. Almost forgot it. But he lives up in Tennessee. And then the Woodwalkers, they have Greg. He's in Alabama. Spencer and Misty. They're in Virginia, or one's in Virginia, one's in, I think Misty's in Kentucky. So, and then, like I say, it's a big family, and all these folks in the chat, they're family. Gary Spikes, he's moderator for all of our groups, and him and Billy Schilling are 2 of the greatest people you'll ever meet, and they do everything they can for everybody when we get together. Gary sets up tents and stuff for people. He brings walking sticks that he gives away or sells, depends on what he's doing. And
Yeah.
now Billy, he don't get on any of the shows very much. And now Hillary there, she is a cut up and a half. You get to know her.
Well, I can't see the chat. I'm assuming you're reading people off. We've got the picture big on the screen, and I'm not seeing the chat right now. So if anybody's saying hi or anything, I don't mean to miss you. There's 1,000 million times that I don't want to miss what you're saying, but I can't see it right now.
I thought you had the chat brought up.
Well, at one time down at the bottom, Anita Collier popped up, but that's the only one that I've seen. So
well,
I'm
that's
not
because
intentionally
I
not
highlighted it.
anybody.
It's I highlighted like that.
Well, I now see that it says Hillary, and it's got a YouTube something on it.
Yeah.
But that's only the second thing that's popped up on the screen. So I'm new at all this. Ask them if they have a YouTube channel. I can see that now. No, not yet. But all of our stuff is on Facebook, and more is getting ready to be on TikTok at Night Vision Paranormal. If anybody needs to contact us, because I know Billy and the ghost group here, which I'm a part of, but if people that are wanting investigations, like I said, at their houses and businesses, we've done both here in Paducah, McCracken County, and Marshall County. So they can always contact Night Vision Paranormal KY at gmail.com, or they can get us through the Facebook page. But as of yet, we don't have a YouTube, but we're kind of getting into this. This is my first podcast, and it's Billy's second. So we're still learning.
We're still trying to grow our social media. We still work. So he's retired, so we can only do what we have time to do, and we're trying to get it off the ground, but one step at a time. We recently just got Facebook kind of fully operational. We're hoping this video takes TikTok off a little bit and makes it rise, and then we'll go from there, one thing at a time.
We're going to be putting more of our captures from our paranormal investigations and from the cryptid stuff. We're not slowing down. We're just getting started. So everybody stick around.
Well, I thought everybody went to YouTube before they did TikTok.
Well, not me. I don't know anything about it. That's where logistics chief comes in, and she handles that stuff. I just walk around in the woods, sweat, and take pictures of really large timber rattlers.
Well, you see, I'm using StreamYard here.
Yeah.
That is free. You don't have, you go through the, set up your show and it'll post to, you can do a live or you can record it and you can post it on YouTube that way.
All right. So, I'll let the technical people work on that.
And that's not me.
That's not us.
That person is not in this picture. With 4 kids.
She's got her hands full.
Yeah. We got a little 2-year-old here that I understand what you're talking about. But but anyhow.
It was a little chaotic earlier.
Yeah. Let's get back to y'all. You got something else planned for soon?
This coming weekend, like I said, we'll be in Ashmore Estates in Illinois this coming weekend. And then, like I said, we have a con coming up in our local county, Marshall County, for me and Jill, local county. It's a mini con. It's at the public library in Benton, Kentucky. We'll be doing a speaking engagement there. And like I said, we kind of have to take our highs and lows. We'll be off a little bit after that. We'll be at the Cape Con in August 30th, I believe it is, in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Then we'll have to take a little time off for kids' travel sports. And then we'll hit it hard again in October during spooky season. And we've got some things planned for that time. We're always open for scheduling. If anybody has a personal residence or a business they need checked out, we can usually juggle that in there somewhere. Between lining up babysitters and weekends that we're not out of town for travel sports, we fit in what we can fit in for this part. And we also have to fit in the vendor side of things too, because as much fun as the investigation side of it is, the tools and sometimes the places that we rent out to go are not cheap, and we have to raise money by selling merch in order to go there. So,
well, you're talking about your equipment. Have you checked Temu for stuff and Amazon?
Well, we have a lot of ways that we get equipment. We use Ghost Stop a lot. They help us out tremendously. So, we have different ways that we get equipment, and
Personal purchases too.
We're the type of people that will watch a TV show about paranormal. There's several of them to choose from, and we'll see a new tool and we'll be like, I want that. And so for the next anniversary, birthday, Christmas present, that's what we gift each other is new equipment. So we've recently added a lot of stuff to our thing, and not that we didn't have a whole lot, to begin with, but we've added FLIR. That's really going to help with the cryptid side of things. We just got an Ovilus from Ghost Stop. We have a tripwire now. So we have a lot of different things that, and like I said, collecting every day. But personally, the bills have to come first, and then the Ghost side of things. As we sell more merch at these vendors, we turn around and put that money right back into it for more equipment, more hunts, written out more places to go. We recently just did the Glen House over in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. We just did the Night House in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. Last night, we just did a ghost hunt at the McCracken County Courthouse here in Kentucky.
Yeah, quite a bit of activity. And we haven't even started going through our recordings on that because it's been one of those days. That was 2:00 this morning. We finished that. So
Well, you
started listening.
You just starting your cryptid search. Did you take any of your trimeters and whatever when you went down to LBL?
No, that was actually something that came up at the Alabama conference. People were talking about taking EMF meters. It never had occurred to me. So I was like, okay, we're going to start taking that out to see if we get disturbances, not just from what we believe to be ghosts, but from other type of creatures that may be out in the land between the lakes. So yes, we're going to start that, but I have not done it yet.
Hang on a second. It makes so much noise.
Billy,
Right.
Just breathe. Just breathe.
I'm trying to get his name right. His name's Harley. He brought a meter. He brought a meter down there to the camp out, and he was getting readings up to 82 on whatever meter he had.
Wow.
And base was like 42.
Now, he's getting ready to come on your show here in another day or two, right?
Right.
Is he going to talk about that then?
He probably will.
I'd like to hear him. I met him briefly there at the Alabama conference, but I'm looking forward to hearing how he's utilizing the equipment and what kind of readings he's getting on that, because that's a new avenue for me.
Yeah. Roger was there. He picked up a couple of pieces of quartz and was striking them, making them spark. He got it. He was enthralled by that. And he's got some thermal video that he caught down there on I think it was Patrick's night vision camera, because he didn't have anything of his own there that night. And so there's a bunch of people in camp that didn't come to the conference with us. That blue-eyed northern and her husband, Stacy, Chad and Erica. They do the Oddcast podcast. Bud and Angie from Fun Times with Bud and Angie. This is their podcast. And like I say, we got a bunch of people podcast in our group. And
I didn't realize how big this was until recently. I mean, like I said, it's always kind of just been a hobby, a pastime. And in the last year and a half, probably 2 years, we decided to turn it into more of a business. It was getting expensive. It was adding up. So we actually did, get a business license where we can vendor places, things like that. And then in turn, grow. We've, like I said, really in the last few months, we've really hit Facebook really hard. We were sitting there with 3 months ago, maybe 350 friends on Facebook, and it was really just family and close friends that we had sent the invite to. And then I was, hey, we're going to hit this hard. And next thing you know, we're over 1,100 and growing. Hopefully other paranormal groups similar to us. A lot of groups focus solely on one thing. We probably do more ghosts as a group, but he's really growing the cryptid side for us after his retirement.
Ghosts. Haven't got any aliens yet, but we're working on it. I don't know who this D guy could be. And of course, you got your favorite Bigfoot there. So we make attempts at all of it, and we're going to bring you evidence. We bring you 100% legitimate, no BS, no woo-woo. If it didn't happen, we'll tell you it didn't happen. If it happened, you can take it to the bank that it's the truth.
Well, if you go to BobbyDizzle.com, that's Bob Dole. He also has a podcast. He lives up in Huntsville, Alabama. There's places around there that's haunted. There's places here in Anniston. There's a bar down here. There's a motel that's supposed to be haunted. And
Anita Collier was telling me about the Crest or the Crest. I'm not sure which one it is right there in Anniston. And I think she had some interesting things happen there on a paranormal investigation. I believe Tex was there, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I can't see the chat. She may be chiming in now, but it's something Crest or Crest, but someplace right there in town, I believe, in Anniston.
I can't think of the name of the bar down there. It's like a bar, restaurant type thing. Somebody give me the name of down there that knows.
Okay, get out of this, you think? I'm afraid I'd like to see the chat, but I'm afraid to do it. I may cut it off.
Well, you should be able to just put it up there and it not interfere with anything.
You think?
I can see it there. YouTube.
Well, it should. I think it would stream here on the side, if I'm not mistaken.
If your son's still in there, there's the link. There's the link to the Cedar Creek Bottoms. If you'll go there and subscribe, y'all can keep up with.
Okay.
Keep up with the spare.
So it should, I guess, show up here.
Yeah.
Comment. Oh, there we go.
We figured
Good job. Oh yeah, I see Anita's in there a bunch. Oh yeah, Tex and Booze, Blondes and Booze was there. There you go. She's giving us the information.
We're always up for anywhere to go. We have to fit it into life. And regular families go to Disney World for vacation. We may go on a ghost hunt and a cryptid search for vacation.
There you go.
Or for a birthday. That just happened.
So we did the night house in Hopkinsville, Kentucky for my 13-year-old's birthday party.
That's what he wanted for his birthday. So we did a ghost hunt.
I've seen a little clip on that where they was standing out front.
Night Vision Paranormal Junior took over that night.
Yeah, the junior division. Yep.
That was cool.
We're all family. We're all, family. We get asked a lot of vendor events. Can I join your group? And we politely decline. We do that for multiple reasons. some safety because every now and then our younger children will join us.
Yeah.
I don't want to necessarily say legitimacy, but we know if we're telling each other the truth. You know, when if Mark sees something or has an experience, I trust that he would trust the same for us, me and
There
my
it
wife.
is.
We
The
call it a
fearless woman. That's
I call
what I
it
was
the cool
thinking of.
core. Me and Mark, Jill, my wife, and then my son Skylar. There are times that we'll even leave Skylar at home with him being like 20 years old. We don't take him on every personal investigation that we do, but he pretty much goes on every one where we pay, you know, like the Night House, Glen House, Waverly Hills, places like that. He'll be on all of those. This is the second one for the 13-year-old. He actually went to Waverly Hills a couple years ago with us. And he just begged and begged and begged, and we finally let him go, and he did very well. So we were more than happy to be able to get him one for his birthday, and he was so excited.
If you're not familiar with Waverly Hills, it's in Louisville. You need to look it up.
I've seen it on I don't know how many podcasts.
It's been on a bunch of them, but real stuff happens there. It's the real deal. I've been twice. Jill and Billy have been 3 times. So yeah, it's the real deal.
Anita, how about tell me the name of the hotel down here in town next to the Waffle House?
Oddly enough, the most haunted place I think we can collectively say we've ever been was a personal residence not far from where Jill and I live. We actually went there twice because it was so active and had a ton of stuff happen to us both times we went. As a matter of fact, you had asked Mark earlier, had he ever seen a ghost? I've seen 3, not while I'm ghost hunting, oddly enough. The first time I saw a ghost was my first personal experience almost exactly 20 years ago. And I saw a full body apparition of a family member that had passed away just before. My second encounter was at a job that I had at the time. I saw a full body apparition of the person that had my job before me. And I saw a full body shadow figure at that building as well. Since I've ghost hunted, I've been touched, and I was touched at the house that we just mentioned. That oddly enough, that's the most active place that we've been.
Ghost.
And had a strange encounter at Waverly Hills where there was 4 of us as a group. 2 of us smelled this horrible rancid smell and made us ill and just feel like we weren't wanted. The other 2 that was in our group, including my wife, which has keen senses, did not smell it, thought we were crazy, didn't experience anything, and we could literally walk in and out of it. As a matter of fact, last night, I had I don't want to call similar experience because it was nowhere near in depth, but I did have a moment where I heard my name called, and
I've had that happen several times.
Just had a feeling come over me. I don't want to say it was as bad as Waverly, but just it was very weird. So the full body apparitions, they're rare. And if you're seeing them all the time, I think that might point to some things, but we had 3 places built up because we did do a personal residence in between. And when we do personal residence, we kind of put those on high priority. So we skipped ahead to check all of the evidence for that. We're still backed up because, like I said, we have jobs and we have other things that life takes us to. So we still got to go through a lot of the Glen House, a lot of the Night House evidence that we have. And who knows, there may be something on video that we didn't see. I do have something from the Night House that I am curious to see on video. We did have an experience that happened there that I would like to see how it transitioned on video. But we're not going to put something out there unless, like he said, it's full-blown legit and we can stand behind it. And even though we have another search to do by land and possibly even by water on this, we felt like the picture garnered enough legitimacy that we could put it out. We did the due diligence. He didn't just go take a picture and put it out there. He went back. We went back another time. We went back the same way that he got the picture. We went back from land, and we've seen and found things by doing so that we can't explain how that got in the picture. And we've even done things like put it in AI just to see what it says, and it would blow your mind what it says. So,
well, the spot where you was at with the kayak.
So I'm sorry, what?
The spot where you was at with the kayak and you got that picture, did it get quiet on you there?
I didn't notice anything unusual at all. Of course, the waves of Kentucky Lake was breaking on the shore, so I could hear that. But I mean, it's not like I'm in the middle of the woods and heard it go quiet, as I've heard other people describe. No, there was just light winds, the waves crashing on the shore, and nothing unusual that first day. That's why I wasn't expecting Jill to find anything. And by gosh, she did find. And we think it's really compelling. I'm not saying what it is. I'm saying it's a dark figure. You look at it closely. Now, I have gone in. The original has not been touched. No manipulation whatsoever. But I took a copy and messed with the contrast and all. And things even pop out more. And I don't. All I was just doing was on an iPhone, just playing with it. I have no background in that whatsoever. But just from my little bit of tinkering on a copy of one, which is not what we posted. We posted the original, but I could see even more detail, and somebody that really knows what they're doing. Matter of fact, I reached out to somebody else I met there at the conference, and to see if they would be able to enhance or whatever it is they could do with it to bring out even more. But we believe it's pretty compelling the way it is.
Well, I'll get with you off the air and direct you to some of the stuff I've got on my Facebook.
Okay.
I got a picture of what looks like a ghost in my house. I used to smell them cooking there. My stepfather seen one, a guy in a mirror, and heard some conversations. And since I was a kid, I've had my name called I don't know how many times in different places.
Any idea who may be doing it? You got any relative in mind, maybe?
Sometimes it sounded like my mother. Sometimes it sounded like my grandmother. And it wasn't neither one of them because they were still alive at the time and wasn't nowhere close to me. The lady that stays here with me, she's had her name called 2 or 3 times now here. And one of her sons has had his name called. And
wow, that's quite a bit of activity going on there.
Yeah. But I haven't seen nothing
to investigate your house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring the whole Night Vision Paranormal crew down to check out Wendell's place.
But yeah, I got night vision. I got 2 night vision cameras that I got off of Temu for $28, and they work pretty good. I haven't tried the new one out yet. I just have gotten it in the mail the other day.
I think I saw your post about that. Yes, I did see that.
And I got that little cheap video camera that I haven't tried it out yet. So, yeah.
Maybe you'll get some good stuff, and we'll go from there.
I got a body cam that I've used a couple of times. It works really well. So, yeah, Temu's got some cheap prices on some fairly decent equipment. The only thing I dislike about them is you have to go buy you a chip to go in them. They come without the chip. Yeah. Okay. They come without that. You have to go get one of them.
That gives us more trouble on investigations than anything else to get the right SD card and the right piece of equipment.
Well, on top of that, we have, equipment failures. Things are recording and they stop recording on their own, or the battery drains. Have that kind of technical stuff. which it was all working fine before we started this investigation. Why is it not working now? And I think a lot of people have experienced that both in the cryptid and in the ghost hunting versions of this.
I was at a lake over here in Talladega National Forest with my phone, and I was recording the lake a little bit, and I found where a deer hide had been pulled off and thrown down. Well, my dogs found it, and I went over there and got them away from it. And I started back around past my car going to the boat ramp with my camera videotaping, and it froze up. It would not, I couldn't get it to do nothing. And fortunately, at the time, I had a camera I could actually take apart and pull the battery out of it to get it restarted.
Mm-hmm.
This phone I got now, I can't do that.
Hmm.
But I found a fishing rod down there at the boat ramp that was still cast out. I reeled it in, had fresh shrimp on it.
Yeah.
I think whoever was there seen whatever threw the deer hide down, and they left in a hurry.
Oh, can't imagine why.
That's just my speculation, but
Yeah. I don't know. Y'all got them boogers down there, is what I hear.
well, we got the booger, we got the long-eared things, and some other stuff, and
Yeah.
so yeah. I went to one campground back early last spring, pulled in there, going to see what it was like, see if it was going to be big enough for us to get together and do something. I pulled in there. I got the feeling that I should not be there. I just turned around and left.
Hmm.
I went back later on a few months ago, and everything felt okay. I took a little video of took some pictures of the spot. Everything felt fine. There's actually a fella camping up there in one of the spots. So I don't know what was going on that first trip, but it wasn't good. I could tell you that.
Yeah. Heard that about people having that feeling, being watched, or just know I don't need to be here for some reason. Haven't had that yet, but who knows what tomorrow will bring. I may come back with a story for you, but it'll be the truth. I'll tell you that much.
Billy says I boogered myself.
Yeah, booger.
Oh, but
I'm still waiting for my first cryptid experience. He took the picture. She found it in the picture. All I got was a picture saying, "Look what I just found."
Yeah.
that's the way it works a lot of times, really.
Yeah, I wasn't even trying. So I hear that from other people. Without even trying, this is what happens. So I've been out there humping and trying to track one down and make something happen, and it didn't. So maybe that's what needs to be my new approach: is just show up and start taking random pictures.
I've been told that if you get out there, just take random pictures around.
Yeah.
And check them out when you get home.
Well, I do that on most investigations, but I never thought about it for doing encrypted, but I will be doing that from now on since we had a little success here.
If we can sell more merch, we can all retire and then go with him more often, so we don't have to go by ourselves. So.
Yeah.
That would help us out tremendously, get more evidence. But
yeah.
Well, since I am seeing the chat now, what is it? Did Billy and Mark have a favorite cryptid? Well, if I had to pick one, it would be Dogman. How about you?
I'll probably just go with the OG Bigfoot.
OG Bigfoot.
You know, it's bigger, it's more known, I would say. Dogman really, until his research of local area, to me, I mean, I wouldn't say I hadn't heard of it, but not near as much as Bigfoot. So,
Well, are we coming up on time or
We,
cut off? Or
we
what do you
get
got?
as long as you want to go.
Well, I'll just tell a little. So I told you I was in law enforcement 37 years. So I spent a lot of time in a patrol car, a lot of midnight shifts, both by myself and with my police canine back in the day. So had a lot of midnight shifts, both in Richmond, Virginia, and back in Paducah, Kentucky. So I would pass the time by listening to Coast AM with Art Bell. And if you're familiar with his show, he had the
I
wide
was.
everything that we've got up here, and plus, conspiracies and whatnot. And that passed a lot of midnight shifts while out on patrol.
Yeah.
So that was a starting point for that. Of course, my ghost slash shadow person was a real beginning. But then I saw Lon Strickler. He had his it was Phantoms and Monsters, I believe, was his site, and he had on the story of Jan Thompson about the Beast of LBL, and that was the first time I'd ever heard of the Beast of LBL, or what we I guess now call him the Dog Man.
Yeah.
And it was fascinating because she's talking about Grand Rivers, Kentucky. She's talking about the IGA store there. Well, I know exactly where those things are, so it really resonated from just a local folklore thing. I thought, well, that's pretty interesting. I printed that out several years ago and put it in a file. And then, since then, hear more and more and more about the cryptids that's being seen there, including the Beast of LBL and the Dog Man, and listening to Martin Groves and Barton Nunley and the fellows that I mentioned earlier that kind of paved the way for all this and got me inspired. But that's how my interest specifically in Dogman, I guess, started. But believe me, if I come across a Bigfoot or any of the rest of them, I'd be very happy as well, just to get some validation that I'm not crazy and that I'm not, embarrassing all the other people in Kentucky.
Well, did anybody tell you
out there?
Did anybody tell you about the incident back in 86 or 87 with the family? Yeah.
Well, I think you're talking 82, the LBL massacre.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She talks about that in that original story of this Jan Thompson that was on Lon Strickler's page. She talked about that, and of course, it's been talked about ad nauseum since then. And you'll hear every kind of version of it, and this expert and that expert. So,
well, we got a fella named Tim Coonbo Baker. He was.
I've seen his stuff.
You've seen his stuff?
Yes, sir. And he's talking about the bow hunter and LBL.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
He was actually there with rangers and stuff and seen the spot fairly soon after it happened. I think it was fairly soon. But he's got more information and stories of anybody I know of.
I would very much like to meet him in person someday.
He's been all over the world. He lives up close to Greg up here towards North Alabama up here. So, yeah, if you come to Alabama, you might get to meet him at one of our functions. Bama Murdoch, he's another good guy up here. We just have so many folks here in this area that it's unreal.
Yeah.
Lots of Greg Ogles lives here.
I like that.
Greg Ogles lives here.
Yeah.
When he released his documentary, he did it at a theater up here in Coleman, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
I was there, and several people from other podcasts was there. Bob Dole was there. Glenn Johnson. He was there. He's from the Sport Cat podcast. It was a lot of people, and it was a lot of fun just to hang out there in the lobby with everybody, then go see it, and then talk to them after you leave. And we went to a restaurant up there that was supposed to be haunted, had dinner, but I didn't see nothing happen up there that day.
Probably had other priorities there. Let's get some food on board.
But yeah, like I say, we got a big family, and we're glad to have you joining in with us.
I hope to see more of everybody in the future. Like I said, the vast majority of people that I've run into in this have been just outstanding people that I can learn a lot from, and I hope to be friends with and contribute something maybe to their research.
Now we got one that you don't want to listen to at all. That's Michael Haywood.
There's got to be a story there.
Now, I'm not too reliable myself, but he's got me beat for the most part.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyhow, I had to throw a little
I see you in chat.
And I just don't know how to say how excited I am to be a part of this. I've only been doing it since I started with going on Bob Dole's podcast in 23, first podcast I've ever been on, and then I got to watching others and got in the chats, and here I am. I'm doing my own podcast now.
Yes, you are. And you got
I started out doing gold prospecting, or trying to, and I couldn't get too many folks on there, so I switched. And I'll still go back to the gold prospecting if I can get somebody to come on. And I had an actual cousin of mine come on. Her name is Kathy Louven. She's the daughter of Ira Louven from the Louven brothers. So I'll do music. Anything I find that somebody's interested in, I'm on. I'm not picky. I'm not going to stick with one subject anymore.
Gold is good, but you got to go with cryptids as far as I'm concerned.
I don't know. Like I said, bills as good as gold would.
Yeah, that's the truth. No, it's quite the opposite. You got to pay your own bills. Yeah, that's the truth.
I got the one fellow that was on my podcast for the prospecting. He was the fellow that invented the dream mat that goes in the bottom of the sluice boxes, and he's also making sluice boxes with the same mat design in the bottom of them now. So, and he's been a member of my Prospecting USA Hunting America's Treasures group for a long time, way before he ever actually come up with the concept and started building it. So and then I have another group. It's called the California Gold Prospectors and Treasure Hunters. That group, I've got over 1,000 members in there. So, yeah.
Like stay busy on all this stuff.
I tried. And what's this idiot saying?
Private pile.
That's
I've been trying to watch
what I'm saying about him.
I've seen some people talk about seeing some full body apparitions. He had a shadow person. I had one shadow person, 2 full body apparitions, not even ghost hunting, one of which is why I ghost hunt.
Yeah, a lot of people's had experiences as they was growing up and through their lives is what got them into it, and I can understand that. And
one said it was a family member. One of mine was a family member. I've seen some people earlier talking about EVPs. We get EVPs a lot. That's probably the most common evidence that we get. We've had some pretty amazing ones. Probably the one that stands out most to me, the residence that we talked about earlier, that to me one of the most haunted places we've ever been. I kept saying the name wrong, and I was corrected.
The name of, through the research, they knew who may have died there. So he got corrected by this EVP as to what the correct pronunciation of the name is. So that's pretty good stuff. Now, just last night at the McCracken courthouse, they heard a female's voice. Jill and Billy both heard that more than once. So we're really anxious to start digging into our recordings from last night to see if we caught any of that on record, because they said it was very clear. So we're hoping for the best on that.
Thank you, Gary.
We have to document it. I mean, personal experiences are all well and dandy, but if we can't back it up with documentation, then throw it out.
Yep.
You see that? Billy asked about, there's three of us seen a shadow or dark something go shooting through the woods in the daytime down there. And that was the weekend of the conference.
So one thing with the paranormal, like I said, we officially started Night Vision Paranormal in 2017. We've really kicked it in high drive in the last few years. I've had a fascination with the paranormal for 20 years personally. Before that, I mean, I can't say that it was just an afterthought. I ain't going to say I never heard the word ghost or thought of ghosts. But one thing that I've always been a big person of, I love history. I love conspiracies. I love mystery, anything out of the normal. And that's, my definition of paranormal is anything that ain't normal, right? So I've always had a love for that. And one thing that people don't realize is
Billy, they can't see you.
Oh, I'm sorry. One thing that people don't realize to me is there's history everywhere.
Yes, there is.
Where you're walking at or where you're standing at, you have no idea what's happened there. That dates back to Civil War, that dates back to the Indians, that dates back to what, the frontier, when they were pushing west. There's history under your feet. And if you don't believe that history doesn't get covered up over time, look at how many times we do new construction and find a cemetery where nobody had an idea what a cemetery was. Things get lost to time. And the good thing about a lot of places is sometimes the stories live on. It becomes a little bit of myth, a little bit of folklore, but sometimes there's some truth to that. And, we do aliens as well. We haven't done as much of that as anything else. But one thing I always do when I go outside, I look up. Because if you ain't looking, you don't know what you're missing.
Yeah.
When we're ghost hunting, we got cameras going everywhere because we can't be everywhere in that investigation.
Well, what have you seen?
What have I seen paranormal investigating?
No, UFO was.
Personally, when I was younger, I saw some lights that were ahead of me on the road when I was driving a car that disappeared out of nowhere. I've seen two things go across the sky that I could not explain. They weren't stars. They weren't meteors because they didn't leave a trail. They weren't comets or anything like that. Never had anything captured or recorded. But I have seen things that draws my interest, probably not near as much of a solid personal experience as the ghost side of things, obviously. Never really had a cryptid. I've never saw Bigfoot. I've never seen Dogman, never seen Mothman, none of the above. Still waiting. But I wouldn't search if I didn't believe. But you have to go in with a little bit of a skeptical head. And to me, seeing is believing. If I've never seen a ghost, I wouldn't believe in ghosts.
Yeah.
But me being the person that I am, when I see something, I've got to know why I saw it. So therefore, I'm going to investigate until I figure out how and why I saw what I seen.
That's all you can do. Well, it's funny. All these years that the government said, no, they ain't nothing. No, there ain't nothing. And they finally come out and say, here's video of them. So, yeah.
Well, one good thing about the paranormal is due to paranormal pop culture within the last 15, 20 years, let's say, where shows have gotten more popular, I believe that people are becoming more desensitized to things.
Yeah.
And we live in an area that's known as the Bible Belt, obviously. So I think we maybe hit a little bit more of a roadblock sometimes in other areas. But more and more people come around to it. And it's funny, we go out and about places and people will pull you over to the side and they'll be like, I see what you do in your spare time. I had this experience once upon a time. They'll start opening up, telling you their story, or they'll ask you to share your story. More and more people are opening up to it. And I don't know if it's that more things are happening, but technology is getting better too, so that you can record and document things that happen.
Yeah. Well, I think there's actually more stuff going on. I know up until I got with Bob Dole and started into this, I found 2 tracks in my driveway one time. Before that, I was smelling the ghost cooking. I caught that picture. I've seen the lights in the sky. I've seen a Navy seaplane chasing a black triangle. So, yeah, wow. I've seen things all my life as far as stuff in the sky, but never really knew if it was or wasn't. And
it's all about the searching and continuing to search.
And then, like I say, 2023, when I started this, I never heard, seen, or anything other than them 2 tracks I found in my driveway. One of them I wasn't really sure was a track, but the other one was so small. It was like a kid. And where I lived at, there wasn't no kids out there in them woods. And I'll show you the picture later on where you can see that.
Okay.
And now I've heard 4 or 5 howls. I've found another track down at Chinnaby Lake close to Cheehaw.
Mm-hmm.
Down there where we camp at, I've heard.
I keep hearing about Cheehaw. I want to see that place.
Yeah.
Yep.
You wasn't far from it. It was about a hour drive, maybe, from where we was at.
Okay.
Was it? I live 11 minutes from where we had the conference, but I was camping a hour and 10 minutes away.
Okay.
So I had to drive from down there up to the conference and back.
Well, next time I come down, I'm going to pack to do some camping as long as it takes.
If you're camping down there where we go, I would suggest you don't go alone. Because there's stories of some things that wasn't nice happened down there.
Okay.
So I would definitely tell you to not come by yourself.
Well, I'll probably get some local experts down there like you and Anita and Selena, maybe some of the locals.
Well, you probably get me or Mark one to come down and join you.
Okay.
For a weekend or something, depending on his work schedule. and Stacy may come up there. She and her husband, or her by herself, depending on whether her husband's at work. He's a truck driver, so he's in and out. And so, yeah, might even get that Wind Clan Ken to come join us. Old Greg House there in the chat. He might even drive down if he thinks it's worth his time.
Well, I'm coming to see your boogers that you got down there.
He's got a man cave that is unreal. And he is one of the best cooks you'll ever run across too.
That gets my attention.
When we have a big get together, he'll bring stuff down and cook for everybody in the evening, like a big pot of gumbo or some barbecue ribs or beef or pork or something, and it's
I like some gumbo and crawfish etouffee. I lived down in Louisiana for a while, worked down there. I like me some Cajun food.
Greg's aunt, Verby, she brings a rum cake that is to kill for. So, yeah, we have a great time.
All right.
And not visiting Paranormal, may have to pack up and go south one weekend.
Yep.
Yeah, I've never been on a ghost hunt, so I'd like to go on one too. So if you come to Alabama and we're within a couple of hours of each other, I'll try and get there.
All right.
Well, I thank y'all for coming on. It's been a great show. I've enjoyed talking with y'all.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
We'll have to get you back on here again sometime when you get some more evidence. And
yes, sir. We're working on it.
Get it where I can actually show it.
Oh, you couldn't pull it up at all?
No, not while I'm on here.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I texted you the pictures after we got them up, but it said it was like a technological nightmare so far.
We've had some technical difficulty getting to here.
That's
tonight.
right. But everybody can go to Night Vision Paranormal on Facebook or TikTok, and you can see the pictures. And so we'll keep searching.
All right. And if you ever get set up where you can do the StreamYard, do YouTube, I'll definitely come on your show too.
All right, we'll look into that.
Right now, we're not looking for any more.
I like the field investigation. So I don't know about the podcast, but thank you for the opportunity.
We sell enough merch, we'll retire, and then we'll make a podcast.
That'll work.
All right. I'm going to put the end stream, but y'all hang on for a little bit after I get.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining in.
Thank y'all. We'll see y'all in the other chats later on.